So today we'll continue the same. So in the list, one minute. So I hope everyone joined. We will start now. So in the list, we were discussing about what is list and how we can uh, execute the list, different list categories and different operators with the list. And we are also discussing the different functions in the list yesterday, right? So functions like min, max, append, okay, and all those functions, assignment, all the different functions we were discussing in the yesterday's class, right? So we also discussed about how we can iterate using the list items, okay? So all those things we have discussed in the yesterday class. So length and max, min, sum, list, sorted, append, remove, sort, reverse, count, index, insert, pop, and clear, all those things we have discussed. So today we'll try to execute directly those things, and then we'll go to the tuples. Okay. So let me execute all these functions parallelly. Then we'll go to the tuple next session. So let me show you all these things which was discussed yesterday, and we stopped taking the class because the voice is not clear to many. So but we have discussed all those things, and these are basic ones. So we are not concentrating on these things, these lists. We'll go to the next topic because we are losing the time. So let me start this. I'll open. I'll open our project folder, or we'll create a new one on the desktop. We'll create a new one for testing this project or the Python. I'm creating a Python class which I'm selecting so that we can work on that. Okay. So here I'm going to a new file. Okay. Uh, Today we are going to discuss the list examples dot py. Right. We are creating the file. Right. So how do we, as we discussed in the previous session, we have discussed the list examples as well as the list operators and all those things, right? We'll check one after the other, then we'll go to the next topic. So first, as we discussed, how do we create a list? Normally we create using the brackets, right? So we create any list simply using the say L1 is equal to, if you are creating this is a null list, and L2 is equal to, if you are creating any items like 1 2 3 comma python comma uh, comma 3.7. Okay, this is L2, right? And L3 is, say we are creating with, so this is a new this is a list where we having identical item, and like that we have created. And we can also create with the strings, like 4 is equal to, we can say C comma python comma java comma cpp. So this is a basic example normally we take, right? So where did I missed? So we have created 4 lists. You can see first one is the empty one, and second, third, fourth all are. So if you print, if you print each one of them, it will print them individually. So this is the first. We'll go little fast. We'll check all the few which are very important. Then we'll go explaining each operator and which are mostly used. Okay, and we'll go to the tuples. Okay, right. So here you can run this script. So it will create. It is creating a terminal where we can directly run. So you can see these are the outputs, right? And we also discussed we can what we call index them in a forward and backward, right? So if I'm saying forward means it will start from the 0 to n-1. If I say backward means from this CPP is referred with the -1, Java 2 is referred with -2, like that, right? So please, so if I say print L1 L2 of sum 2, so L2's 2 is 1 2 3 3, right? Then I want to check from the backwards. So this is L2's 2 is 3.7, right? And L3 is minus 2 means, -1 means we'll get the Java, not Java, CPP, right? So we'll check it. So you can see here I'm printing L2 of 2, right? So 0 1 2 3.7 it is printing, and at the same time in the backward -1 means for L3. L3 is last one is 5, right? It is being displayed. And L4, if I want to print from the backboard, this which is spelling is wrong, that I want to display the third item from the backboard. I will display -1, -2, -3. So say, so it will display Python which is written in the L4 from the backboard, right? Right. So like that, the backward indexing is also used whenever you require in the projects. Okay, then we discussed about different operators. Like if you want to add L1 with L2, right? Simply how I will write L1 plus L2. This is an addition operator, right? So that that will be addition means here we are adding the two lists. That means a concatenation of the two lists will happen, right? So if so you can see uh, L1, okay, sorry, L1 is null, so that's why it is showing nothing. So again I will add. So you can see L3 and L2 were concatenated. How they are concatenated? Because I kept the L3 in the first it will be added, then L2. So like that you can see first the first list whatever you have kept, that will be added to the string which was you have applied, right? So then you can if you want to the another operator we discussed about star, which will repeat the item the number of times we give. If I give 2, so it will be repeated 2 times, right? So 1 2 3 4 5 was repeated 2 times, right? And another we suggested another one is the range slice operator. Range slice operator means we can slice the total count to, if I give n, it will display the n minus 1, right? So if I say 1 colon print L2 of L2 brackets 1 colon. So these you have to know while you're doing the pre-processing of the data, right? So 1 colon 4. So you're slicing the L2 from 1 colon n minus 1. That is. So L2 is so from what? Okay, L2 is having less. We'll do it L3. You can see we got 2 3 4. That means what what are the indexes for L3? 0 1 2 3 4. From 0 to 4 the index positions. When we are slicing, what happens? This it will start from the first value, that is 1 index, and it will go up to this value minus 1. That means it will go up to 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. So it will 1 2 3, up to that it will slice the total list. Okay, you have to remember when you are giving the slicing, it will work like that. Okay, then okay, then if you want to check for any any value in the so using the in, you can check for any value in the total list, right? So like if you want to check whether app is there in the L4, CPP is there in the L4, CPP in. Okay, CPP in. So when we are writing this CPP, this should be written in a double quote, right? CPP in L4. So what it will return? It will return either true or false. So it is true because it is there. So if I am writing C++, it is not there, right? It will return the false. So it will return the false. Like that, in operator works. Okay. So in the same manner, not in also works. Okay. So to update, the next thing is to update or change the elements in the list. We use the equal to operator, right? So you can use the range to select some item, or you can use direct indexing to select some item. Like if I want to change this 3 to some 6, what I will do, I'll simply I will simply use the equal to operator to change the value. L3 of, what is the index value? 3 is in 2 position, right? L3 of 2 equal to some 60 I want to update. Then I'll print the same. So this is for updating, right? And we can also use the other operators like removing and all, right? So like this. So you can see initially it is this. Then I updated the content of this L3 by indexing. The second index is 3. This is replaced with the 60 value. Then again, while I'm printing, it is displaying this 60. Then how to delete or remove elements from the from the list. You can use both either pop or del operator. So I want to remove this 60. Okay. So how I'll do that? I will simply use del space L3 of 2, right? 60 is in the second position, right? So I'll do that again. I'll print L3, then it will display without this 60. First it will display with the 60, then it will display without 60. Okay. So you can see 1, 2, 60, 4, 5 is there. Then I have removed using the del operator, right? Then del. Then a list. Then the third next category is for in. We have discussed iterating of the items. So simply, how do I write any, say I have the L4 here, right? What is the syntax for I in the list, whatever the list I have, say L4 I have, right? Then colon, then I'll use the indentation, right? So it will start from, if the code is for this, for we have to give the space, then we have to write this, print this, or we can use any code here. After indentation, whatever you write, that will come under that for particular file for loop. So here, how many times this print work? This will print works the number of items in this L4, right? So L4 is for having the 4 items. So it will print 4 times, one after the other, right? So here we are discussing about in. So what happens each time? This C will be stored in I, and that will be printed first. In the next iteration, Python will be stored in I, and it will be printed. Like that, it will work, right? So what happened? It iterated and printed 4 times, right? Then that's how the Python works. Then we discussed about the functions, right? Functions is like we have length, sorted, count, max, all those things. So first we'll see length of the list. Okay. So length of the list will display the size of any list, right? So if I want to know the length, the size of anything, simply I can use print, okay, the len function of, I want to know the L3 size, right? So L3 size is what? 5. So it will display the 5. If I want to know the size of the L4, it will display the 4. So I can add the text like, then after semicolon, what I have to use? I can use the comma. Okay, I can use the comma so that uh, it will produce the variables, right? So here I'm saving it and I'll execute the code. So you can see the length of L3 is 5, right? So like that, we use the length function to find the any elements size, right? If I use max, if I use the max, what it will print? Max of L3. So both are 5. That is reason it is displaying 5. So if I tried with L4, so what I said, when we are having the strings in it in the list, what it will display? It will display the string, the variable or item which is having the highest size, right? So I'll check this. So so here it's not, this is L4, right? The max size of the maximum of L4 is Python. Okay, so I've given the static L4 is Python. So like that, it will print. Even the min also works in the same manner. Then you can also sum of the total using the sum operator, right? The sum, and you can check the other operators also, other functions also. Oh, I'll give you the PPT. You can check those things. I'll discuss very few and we'll close. And so the sum is 15, right? So you can use the sum. And we also discussed about listing, converting any string into the a list using the list what we call a list type okay, list type conversions, right? So if I say some name is equal to Python, this can be converted into the what we call list item by simply using the list type conversions. Okay, so I can use print of, first I'll convert that to list using list1 is equal to list of what we are doing, which what I'm converting the name, right? So this will convert this name Python into the individual list item. So P will be the first item, Y will be the second item, like that. So you can give the any the collection of the strings also, collection of the strings, that is statements also. This will be mostly used while pre-processing of your data. Okay, so I'm saving this. Okay, Gayatri and Vaishnavi, is my voice is audible and is my display is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if my display stops somewhere, you please mention me and you please inform me. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if I want to append any data, if I want to add any data, okay, then we can use the append function. Okay, if I want to append some Python Python is or something. Okay, so list one dot I want to append CP Python plus what we pandas. Okay, so what happens? It will append the current one to the end of the Python append, and what I want to append, say pandas. Okay, then what happens? This pandas will be appended and the end of the current list. Okay, pandas will be appended in the end of the list. So print list one. Okay, so I haven't saved one. So you can see the pandas were added in the last as a last item over there. Then we can also remove any item from the list. Okay, so we can also item any item from the list, and you can check by using the remove function. We can remove, and we can sort using the sort operations. Okay, so if I want to sort anything, how I'll sort? Okay, I'll use a list one dot sort. Then what happens? This list one will be sorted. Okay, this list one will be sorted, and we'll try to run it. So you can see it was sorted. The total item was sorted. Okay, then we can also sort in the reverse order, as we can you can use the reverse function also to reversely sort. Okay, or you can use the reverse function as you wrote here, the sort. You can also write reverse function to reverse the thing, and you can also find index of anything using the index of any. So if you want to know, right, if you want to know where exactly this pandas in which place pandas is there, okay, then you can write like print of list one and list one dot index of, then you can write pandas, right, simply in the single quote or a double quotes. So you want to know where exactly it is located, where exactly it is 0 1 2 3 4 position it is, right? So you can find it. So pandas is in the find. So how we are you doing that? Using the index of the list, right? So, and also we discussed about the pop. If you use the pop, then we'll get the last item by default. And if we are using if you want to pop any particular value, then we have to give the particular position value. Okay, right? So how we will do the pop? Using the list one, that is the name of the variable, right? Then dot pop of So what it will do, it will pop the last item, remove the last item. Okay, then we'll be seeing only the items without the last item, right? So we'll run this. So you can see the last item was removed. Now I want to remove this O. So how do I remove? I can use the index of this. How do I index? Using the, what is the position here? 2, right? I can use that pop of 2. So then what happens? It will be removing the second position value only, right? So O was removed. You can see there is no O because it was removed using the pop, right? Like that, we can work with the different functions, and we can clear the content of any list using the clear option. Simply by complete content can be cleared using the clear. So if you want to clear the content of the list one, you can use simply clear. So second time, a null value is displayed. When we use the print list one, it is displaying the null value because all the items in the list one were removed using the clear function. Okay, so like that, so what, like that we can work with the lists. Then we'll go to the here. I'm having an examples of how we can use these in a different see industry scenarios. Still, I'll quickly review them, and we'll go to the tuples. So normally, like for in patients, I want to find the length. It is easy. So when we are reading we are checking the number of patients in a queue, or the number of sensor readings received from a medical device. Okay, then we can use that. Say patient queue is John Lee and Elise. So what we'll do, we'll simply write length of patient queue is greater than 5. Print warning patient queue is long, awaiting doctor. So we can write the code like that. If the patient queue is more than 5, how we can know the patient queue is more than 5? This list will be added initially. So initially it is dynamically adding. So when each value is added, it will check whether length is greater than 5. Then we'll tell them to wait. So for that we use the length, like while we are writing the code. Min max sum will use it while analyzing the medical records like temperature of heart rate readings. Find the highest and lowest value while some calculate the total, like that. Okay, and convert list type conversion. When we use it, while we are converting the data from another format like sensor reading, okay, into a list for easier manipulation. So when we are having a total string, we want to convert them into the individual values. Then we use this uh, list type conversion, right? So like sensor data tuple is giving 120 comma 80 BP readings. For checking the BP readings, this is a common value it is giving us. Then to divide that into the individual values, what we are doing, we are using the list sensor data. Then what will divide that into the 120 as one item and 80 as another item. Okay, so that is another example. Then for sorting also, we'll sorting the patient name alphabetically, we use this sorting. Then append and insert, normally adding a new page to the end of the queue. So when new form comes, the data has to be added to the current list. Then we use the append in the code. Okay, like patient queue dot append. Then previous to the previous value, the previous list, the new data will be added. And to remove and pop, to remove at any case, we'll use the remove and pop. Okay, like that we will be using I'm simply giving, because we are going to work on this industry projects. I am explaining even the basic concepts also with these what we call examples, right? So that then we'll go to the tuple sequence. Okay, tuple sequence in the Python. Okay, so last time we have discussed about in the advanced data structures, we have discussed about not advanced data structures. Okay, so we'll discuss the tuple. Let me start it one. So here the list is collection of, it can be a multiple items, and we also discussed tuple is a immutable element or item, right? So we discussed about mutability. We also discussed about immutable items, right? So immutable items we have among the immutable items, tuple is the one. So we already discussed mutability and immutability in the last but one class, right? So this tuple is similar to the list, since the item stored in the list can be changed, whereas a tuple is immutable and the item stored in the tuple cannot be changed. So it will create a new object. If you want to change, it will create a new object. So tuple can be written as a collection of the comma separated value enclosed with the small brackets, like small parentheses. So normally we use the list for in the list we use the brackets. In the tuples we use the what we call parentheses with the comma separated, right? So you can see the same we will write, but we use the comma separated values. And so here you can see same, it will create the null and it will create but it will display using the, only the thing is it is immutable. Okay, in the tuple it is immutable. Okay, then like list sequence, the indexing of the Python tuple starts from 0, and first element of the tuple is also start with a 0 ending, and second first and go on, right? So here like this same indexing is same. And unlike other language, Python provides the flexibility to use the negative indexing also. The negative indexes are counted from the right. Okay, so the last element is the rightmost of the tuple, has the index -1, and it is adjacent to the left element is present. So like this. Okay, like this, right? So from the backward it will start from the -1 as we discussed in the earlier. So tuple operators is known as the concatenation operator to concatenate two tuples in the same manner like list, and star is for the repetition, and bracket is, it is known as slice operator. It is used to access the item from the tuple. Like if you give the 2, it will get the third value, right? If you give -1 from the last, we'll get the first value, like that. So and colon is range slice operator as we discussed in the previous, right? So here you can see num is 1 2 3 4 5 6, and we can concatenate two tuples, and we can simply multiply 2 times in the same as an example, and we can get index using the brackets. But you here the bracket is operator. Okay, you have to remember that bracket is used in the list, but here bracket is acting as a operator. Okay, immediately with the variable, right? So you should not be confused with the operator with the list element where we define any list item with the brackets. So unlike the list, tuple cannot be updated and deleted as the tuples are immutable. Okay, so we cannot delete the content of the we cannot delete content of any, right? So here you can see to delete we can use, so to delete the entire tuple we can use the del keyword with the tuple name. Simply if we use the del keyword and tuple name, it will completely delete. Okay, so here you can see, so it will throw an error like tuple is an object, does not support item assignment. So here HTML cannot be assigned, and even while we are using this also, it will show us tuple cannot delete the item. So, and when we use the del tup, then it will delete the total record. Okay, so and tuple can be iterated by using the for in and simple tuple. So normally where we use the tuples when we that content is static. In those cases we use the tuples. When the content is changeable, then you go for the list. So normally when you are fixing something, okay, when we are fixing the something, you'll make it in the tuple. Okay, when you're fixing like uh, you're fixing something like months in a year, okay, then you'll be using that will not change, right? So then you'll be using the tuples. And when your days in a month, that you will not be, that you cannot change, right? So those kind of elements you use the tuples. Normally anything, okay, number of students registry coming to the patients coming to the or hospital, that will be represented with the list item, right? So we have to check what is immutable data and what is immutable data, and we have to go with the corresponding data structure. Okay, right? So so here in the same like for we are printing the tuple data, and tuple in using the Python in the same manner. Tuple functions are like length, which is used to find the length of the tuple and returns the number of items in a tuple. And max, as you know, finds the maximum of element, as we discussed in the previous session, a previous execution. Then minimum is to find the minimum value of the tuple, and sum function to return the sum of all values in the tuple. And tuple is used to convert a given sequence into the tuple value. So as we use the list for type conversion to convert this string into the static, it will uh, it will it will be, so what happens, this string cannot be updated now, right? So that's what we can do. When we're converting anything into the tuple, it cannot be updatable. Okay, and it will be converted into the tuple, normal value also converted into the tuple, but it will be in the static mode. Then so for sorting function is to sort all items of the tuple in a ascending order. Okay, and count method will return the number of items elements in the tuple, and if the element is not present in the in the tuple, it will return 0. So here um, so whenever we are trying to find count of 2, it will check how many times this 2 will occur. So how many occurring, 2 is occurring, so 2 is occurring once, twice, and thrice, 3 times, right? So it will display the 3. So how it will display, count is equal to num dot count of 2, right? So when if 10 is not there, so it will display the 0. Okay, so index method returns the index of a passed element, right? So it will display, yeah, anything is there. So this is how tuple works. So only the difference between the tuple and where do we use, at what data we use the tuple, at what data we use the list, or what data we use the dictionary. Before going to the dictionary, we'll please think when we use at what data we use list, and what data we use tuple in the medical applications. Okay, I'll give you 1 minute. Just think, and you can answer in the question and answers. Okay, what data? What data in a patient medical applications, health industry? What data is stored in the list, and what data is stored in the tuple? Please think for 1 minute. I'm giving gap so that we can go to that. We can close here. You can answer in the question and answers. You can Google also. You can Google and answer also. But that is important. When you're when you're writing an application, you have to know which data is to be kept where and why. So I'm giving 1 minute before I see your answers. So mutable lists are mutable, right? Which can be changeable, and so the patient's records under active modification, we can like patient history, treatment plans, all the treatment plan. We have to add the treatment plan, new treatment plan for the patient. All those can be kept as a mutable data. The patient's name we can change, patient phone number we can change, patient age we cannot change, patient what we call patient age we can change, but patient Aadhaar ID, all those details will be there, which cannot be changed, right? So those things we have to keep in the immutable, right? So instead of that, uh, normally for we use the mutable data for mutable data, treatment plans, okay, medications, equipment, consumables, their stock levels, all these are changed, right? Clinical trial data collections, all these are the changing, right? Skew of the patients, all these are changing. So all these emergency room, all these we will be keeping in the list items. Then coming to the tuples, generally tuples are used for the data that should remain constant and unchangeable, right? So right, like patient ID, birth dates cannot be changed, right? And mother name, father name, that we cannot change. Birth date and other ID, all those things we cannot change, right? And case file, we cannot change the case file ID, right? And any medical instrument ID, that we cannot change. So like that, we cannot change some data. That data is kept in the tuples. The data which can be changed, that is kept in the mutable, which is called as mutable, that is kept as a what we call list items. Okay, tomorrow we'll discuss with the what we call dictionaries. Okay, so